Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
And away we go with what episode is this, 32? We do it 32. 32. And Rod Ryan, Jason Ginty, we're doing another podcast. Good to be back this week. Lots to cover. We're going to catch up on some things, man. My legs feel like fucking wet noodles. We'll get to that in just a second. And I've been watching a lot of movies over the last couple of days. Like a family in town, Rod. And it got me thinking about soundtracks. Got me thinking about movies.
I love me some movie soundtracks.
And they get better. They get better and better and better, man. And so we're going to run down our top 5 favorite movie soundtracks of all time. This was hard. This was really hard.
Yeah, it was. And I'm not very current. I'm trapped in the 90s with movie soundtracks. I'm really locked in. Yeah. I'm stuck in a rut. I love the rut that I'm stuck in, but anything you and I, when we talk about movies, you know, I'm not fucking Cape guy. You know, I don't know. I'm assuming that these superhero movies, they all have great soundtracks.
A lot of them do. In fact, I think I got one on my list. You know, what's really cool now is, and I don't know if you've caught up on Ted Lasso yet, but when you do, you're going to realize and I know that's not a movie, but the music in there is so fucking well placed and the songs are great. And you're like, oh, no way. They're using this song for this scene. It really adds to it. That's a great thing about the music in the movies. It really does. If it's done right, done properly, it can really add a lot of punch to a scene.
And there's a couple of kings. I mean, the two best at it. I will get into it coming up in just a little bit. Tomorrow, we're recording on Wednesday. So this used to be the big party night. Like this, and when Jason and I growing up in Buffalo, this was the biggest night to go out and just get annihilated because all of your buddies were back in town. If they moved away or went to college, everybody came back. And even before, after college, we both started at the radio station. This was like a big day to work too. Like I always had a gig. Well, at least for 2 years, I had a gig on this night and it was huge. When I went to New Orleans, they said, what are you talking about? This is not even close to being the biggest night of the year to go out and party. But this night rivaled St. Patrick's Day and New Year's Eve in Buffalo. And I don't feel like it's like that anywhere else.
It's weird because I know when we moved down here, I think we actually would go back home because our parents lived near Buffalo. So we'd both end up back in Buffalo during Thanksgiving holidays. And then we'd end up going, hey, dude, and we lived together in New Orleans. It's like, hey, what are you doing Wednesday night? I don't know. And we'd end up meeting up and going out on Wednesday night.
I live with this dick. And then I go back home and then I go out with him when I go home. Like, I have all these other people. And I'm like, what are you doing here? What?
We're hanging
with you in New Orleans. Why are you with me in this bar in Buffalo right now?
Every damn time. And you know what was really messed up is for about 15 years, I don't think I really ate a whole lot during Thanksgiving dinner because I was so sick. Every Thanksgiving dinner was ruined. So hungover. And then you're like, oh, and you're just like, and then you were like, either you got family at your house or you're at a place and you're just like, just serve the fucking bird so I can go home and go to bed. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I hated Thanksgiving for years.
I love it. I do. I love it. It's just, I call it like it is though. Okay. You're clean. If you're hosting, it's different. Okay. If you're hosting, you're cleaning your house. Mm-hmm. You might be going early on your Christmas decorations because you're hosting and you want to get some of that stuff going. You got to do a shitload of shopping. So then you got to deal with all of that. The cooking itself is brutal. Timing everything out. This is the one thing when I made my first Thanksgiving dinner, when I did it, I called my mom and I said, you're a rock star. And I said, thank you. I go, number one, I don't know if I ever thanked you, which I'm sure I did, thanks mom, whatever, no big deal. But I said, I don't know that I ever really, really thanked you. And number two, I don't know how in my mom's tiny kitchen, how you timed everything out. Everything was hot. Everything hit the table at the same time. I've got a kitchen that's 3 times the size of my mom's now because my mom's still in the house where I grew up. And And I've got more burners. I've got more everything. And we didn't have a microwave when we were little kids.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was hot and it hit the table at the same time. The timing is the most difficult thing. Listen, if you can't cook, okay, then you got bigger problems. But if you know how to cook, you're not off the hook yet. You got to get all that shit to hit the table. And that is brutal. And that's what I thanked my mom. And I said, wow, I don't know how you did it in that kitchen. Counter space, nothing. Like negative counter space.
And then you're getting the card tables out because you got so many people. No one's got who the hell's got a freaking table for Vikings? It's like seats 20 people. Nobody does. So you got the kids table, you got the card table, you got some rickety old shitty table out of the garage. You got a tablecloth on. It looks nice because you tablecloth it up and then you're good to go. What I learned after moving to Louisiana is people in Louisiana fry turkeys. And I'm sure they do it in Texas as well. You know, frying a turkey. I had never done it before. The whole bacon a turkey took, 7-8 hours and all that good shit. And so I went to a friend's house and they had fried a turkey. I'm like, the fuck, I could do that. I could totally do that. I went out years ago, got the rig, got all the gear, do the oil, drop that shit in there, right?
Do you remember who brought us the first fried turkey? I do.
I know
he brought it to the station. He knew that there was a bunch of dumb Yankees there. And I think his wife was somehow marketing or something. Joe Chiarella from Beaver Productions.
Oh, yeah.
Joe brought us, because his wife came in and he brought us the very first fried turkey that we ever had. And I was completely blown away. Why haven't I done this my whole life? Much like crawfish has kind of taken off, so much Southern culture. And I don't know if it has anything to do with Katrina and everybody being displaced all over the place. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But for some reason, in the last 20 years, I mean, everybody up north fries a turkey now.
Right.
They didn't do that when we were kids. I never heard of it before. But yeah, Joe and his wife brought it in. It was the greatest thing I ever tasted in my life.
I've never looked back. I've never eaten another turkey cooked another way because I won't. It doesn't taste nearly as good. The fried turkey is the best. And then I learned a cool secret. I didn't know it. I stumbled upon it and I figured this is why guys love to fry turkeys. Not solely because it tastes so damn good. It's because, and go with me on this, when you fry a turkey, you got to do it outside. Okay. Good weather, bad weather. You're the dude. You're in the backyard, at least the way I do it. You're in the backyard out there having some beers. You got to take some time to get the oil heated up. You're looking at half an hour, maybe. You're looking at another, 3 minutes per pound on the turkey. So you figure another 45 minutes. You got to let it cool and drain, bring it in the house. Okay. You're looking at good 90 minutes to 2 hours of dude time in the backyard. Now, what does this mean? You break it down, you do the math, the X's and the O's. The family's in the house. And I don't know about you, Rod, but little of the family goes a long way. Little family goes a long way. So I figured out over the years, and hopefully nobody's listening to this damn podcast that is coming over tomorrow. I love frying a turkey because I'm outside. I'm not listening to the bullshit. I'm not listening to this person, this, that person, this. Dude, if you're a guy listening to this thing, get your shit some oil, a rig, and fry a turkey. You got a good 2 hours. And then dudes will walk out there. What are you doing? Frying a turkey. Oh, yeah, how do you do it? And you sit out there and you will gladly explain to your brothers in arms how to fry a turkey. And then you have some beers. It's great. I freaking love it. And I will be doing that tomorrow.
The other thing, okay, we never fried up north when we were kids. Everybody does now. But why didn't we inject our turkey? That was another thing that we stole from Southern culture. Absolutely. And even if I bake a turkey, I'll still inject it. And that was something that we learned from moving down south. Why didn't we do that our whole lives?
Game changer.
I mean, absolutely.
Game changer.
I have everybody I talk to up north, everybody's got a turkey fryer. Everybody fries. I mean, not everybody. People still cook the bird in the oven and everything. But it's just not uncommon to see it. Like it's not uncommon to see crawfish. I mean, people, not anything. I mean, 90% of the country's crawfish comes from Louisiana. So between you and here in Texas, it's everywhere, but they do it now.
Going back to the fried turkey thing, since we're just talking like a couple of cooks now, here's another pro tip. Slice up some potatoes nice and thin because you got that oil rolling. Throw some potatoes on the top. scoop them out as your turkey's frying, right? They're going to crisp up pretty quick in that hot oil. Pull them out. You and the boys avoiding the family inside, eating potato chips, and they are damn good. All right. Just a few pro tips right there. And dude, I'm telling you right now, as people are listening to this podcast, if they listen on Thanksgiving Day, I will be out doing what I just told you, avoiding the family.
Perfect. Yeah, and then you go in, you hear like Kyle Rittenhouse. Whoop, I'll be outside. No, out of here. What? 3 white dudes go to. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
No, you guys.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Whoa.
I am out. Did you see the gas prices? No, I'll be outside.
I'll be outside, dude. I will spend. And then, if it really gets heated in the house and they're talking masks, no mask or whatever going on, I got to go clean up the oil now, guys. I'll be out here for the next 6 hours. I'll be cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
Up, so
you got to clean it up.
I'm telling you what, it's a godsend for me, man. I get and don't get me wrong. I love hanging out with the family. They're great. But you know what? You need your space once in a while. And I'm a guy that likes to eat alone.
Well, you're spending a lot of alone time right now. Give me an update. Ginty's 10K a day. Been following your videos. Looks like you're still going strong. How is the body holding up running 10Ks every single day with no days off? This is the 20. This is as we record. It's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. So 24 10Ks back to back to back to back to back to back.
I have ran 153 miles so far this month, dude. 153 miles. So
how do you feel?
I feel like a rock star. I feel
What's hurting right now on you?
Nothing.
Nothing hurts.
Nothing. No. If you do any sort of exercise, you're going to have that normal soreness, the muscles.
Yeah.
I've got that. After in the fear, and we talked about this going into November when I started, I was concerned about like day 7 through 12. That's when your body's like, oh shit, this dude ain't stopping. Because normally I take a day or 2 off during the week. I'll space out my runs. When I'm training, it's every day of 6.2 miles every day. Your body's waiting for that rest day. Yeah, and you're just
it's not coming.
So my legs were starting to feel like shit. My knees were starting to ache. So then I started running the grass a lot more, which is a challenge in itself.
All right.
Because the grass will come up and grab your ankles and you wipe out. And it's harder to run in the grass, but it's softer. I started doing half pavement, half grass, and now I'm good to go, man. I run and that, in fact, what's weird is I thought that throughout the month, my time would slow down. I'm not trying to beat a time or anything. I'm just running at a comfortable pace. My time keeps improving. I keep bettering my times, which doesn't make any sense at all. And I got to say, shout out again to my boy, Billy, man. He's been supporting me every day. He'll watch a video. Keep going, man. You got this. And I've got a lot, dude, I can't even begin to tell you the amount of people hitting me up with support. Keep going, man. You know what? I started exercising. I started jogging. I started doing push-ups. I started doing sit-ups. And it's like, that's the only reason I'm doing this. If somebody goes, well, that dipshit can do it, maybe I should get out there and do some exercise. Right. Dudes are dumb. We don't go to the doctor, the same old speech. I'm only doing this because I want to help you live a little longer so that I can avoid you if you come over to my house for Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, okay. So you'll be very happy. So the whole thing about Ginty running these 10Ks is dudes are dumb. We say it all the time. Dudes are dumb when it comes to going to the doctor. Yep. Okay. New glasses. Wow. This is, I've been off this week. So new glasses. Nice. Doctor appointment yesterday because he holds me hostage every 3 months. I got to go see him. And then here we go. And I'm a little off today. Booster.
Nice job. Nice.
Got my booster today. So I'm vaccinated and we got the Moderna. And then I was just kind of waiting for something to happen. Like, am I going to get an invitation or something? And a neighbor of mine went. So I went online, CVS, blah, blah, blah. I'm old balls, blah, blah, blah. Come on in, old man. So boom, I got my booster today and I feel okay. I mean, I didn't have any problems with the first 2 shots. And it didn't fucking matter if you got the Moderna, if you got the Pfizer, if you got the Johnson & Johnson. I heard people that had nothing. I heard people my sister is the toughest person on this planet. Jason will back that up. Yeah. And she got completely annihilated both times she got the Pfizer vaccine. She's worried about getting the booster, yet she is still going to get it. Wow. I never had COVID. And both shots. This is my third one. Just a little bit. I mean, sore arm. Okay, everyone's gonna have a sore arm. Get over that. I was feeling just a little off for about an hour, and then I'm like, fuck it. I'm tougher than everybody. Like, I won't allow myself. I won't allow it. I just won't. I'm not saying that if somebody does feel like shit afterwards, it's not for real. I walk around and I'm an arrogant asshole. I'm tougher than everybody. I'm not going to let it. I'm not going to let it do anything to me.
2 days ago, I got my booster. 2 days
You
ago.
did? Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, they had a buddy of mine goes, hey man, they're giving boosters down in the parking lot of this old building. I'm like, that sounds legit. I should go check this out. So I did. Went down there, and it was legit. It was the military. They had the army there or whatever, and they were all lined up. The tents. Showed my little card. I go, here's what I got. Which kind do you want? I go, give me the same one. Give me the Pfizer. Cool. We're all good. We're all good. Sit down. Bam. Booster. That was 2 days ago. I never blinked an eye. I never felt anything. Nothing. Been running.
Good for you.
I'm like, well, if I'm going to feel like shit, it's going to make my running thing a little bit difficult. You think I thought about that before I went down there, Rodney? You think I was like,
no,
maybe I'll wait till December 1st to get, no, never crossed my mind. I went down. I'm like, as I got the shot, I'm walking away going, oh shit. If I get sick, I still got to run. Oh, yeah, didn't think of that. I should probably, think these things through a little bit better. But yeah, no, I got the shot, third one. And the reason is because I'm out down in the quarter all the time, and people are just, people are getting hammered now, and people are starting to show up in the quarter, and it's good. It's very good. So
what does the quarter look like today, the day before Thanksgiving, where the Bills are taking on the Saints? And I'm seeing now, obviously I follow along on all this Bills Mafia stuff. So,
right.
My phone's going crazy, and, the tags and everything. I mean, they look organized. They look like they're all over the quarter. You were down in the French Quarter today. Did you see any Bills fans?
Tons of them. They're everywhere. And it's weird because, Bills growing up, that was my team. So like normally when it's not a Bills game coming up against the Saints, you see a Bills shirt, you're like, oh, sweet, because it sticks out. Like you're like so excited to see another Bills shirt because you're a fan. It's probably like seeing a Bills shirt in Houston when it's off season, right?
Yep.
Get excited. So now I'm like, oh, no way. And so it's like kind of weird. It's like I've traveled back home because there's so many Bills fans running around the quarter. And I'll just randomly go up to them and go, hey, where are you from? Buffalo. Well, no shit, but like where? Give me your city outside. Everyone always says, I'm from Houston, but there's 900 cities around Houston. You don't know the specific. And I've run into all kinds of people from all over the place. It's been cool as shit. Nobody I know yet, but I'm going to try and get out there, over the weekend some more and see if I can hopefully run into people. But it's always
cool. They're taking off right away if they plan on staying. I mean, are they still doing the Southern game this weekend? Do you know?
Yeah, that'll be this weekend too. The Grambling, the Bayou Classic is what it calls.
The Bayou Classic, the Southern Grambling game.
Right, and that's a big deal. So New
I
Orleans looks great.
I don't know if the Bills fans will stick around after Thanksgiving, if they're going to make a long weekend of it, or if they're going to go into the game and then boom and then take off. But
there's a lot of kids though. There's a lot of kids all over. There's families. There's families. So I think they traveled. They're coming in for the long. Why not, man? You got the long weekend. 4 days in New Orleans wouldn't suck at all. Come on over. We're open, bro.
All right. Bills Mafia taking over the French Quarter.
Yeah, it's cool. And they
who's going to win this football game? We'll see how well your comments age. Who's going to win this football game? Because the Bills and the Saints kind of sucking right now.
They both suck ass. I think the Bills are going to win.
They're both very. You think? Okay. Bills are frustrating, man. I don't know what the hell happened last week. I mean, they lost to the Jets.
Was it the Jets or the
Jets?
The Colts?
The Colts?
Yeah, the Colts, Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
Frank Reich, the coach.
Yes.
It's weird because, you talk to the Bills fans, they all got a theory. And it's like, okay, well, it's just a bunch of barstool philosophers telling you about what they think of their football team. So it's like, okay, everyone's got a different theory. But, either way, in my house, it's going to be wild because I got all these New Orleans fans, and I'm a Saints fan. But the Bills are playing. It's like, okay, today's the day that I'm going to be that guy that's going to be outnumbered. So it's going to be a good game for the you got people coming to your house for Thanksgiving?
We're kind of scattered all over the place. So it's kind of like an open door situation here. So it's like
right.
Boom, in, out. So it'll probably be one of those deals. But the game, I'm all about the game. I mean, I was this close to coming in for the game. It's just I'm like, I
thought about it too. I thought about going. I'm down the street from my house. And I was like,
yeah, why aren't you going to the game?
Because I like watching on TV better. I really
And
do.
you had Saint season tickets for years.
I did for about 5 years, and I gave them up about 4 years ago because it just got to be like, dude. I mean, I don't want to sound like a bitch, but shit's expensive. Then you got babysitters. Then you got parking. Then you got beers. Man, for what I was spending on in a season for Saints games, I could take these amazing European vacations every summer. So I was like,
yeah, it's expensive.
Watch football or go on vacation. I'm going to go on vacation. So, yeah, it's going to be football and getting fat tomorrow. That's what it's all about. But you know what? Going back to the 10K, and then we'll move on a day. Signed up for a race tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, Thanksgiving morning. There's a
turkey trot.
The turkey trot, 5 miler. I'm going to run that bitch. And what's funny is I'm going to run the 5 miles. And everyone else will be done.
Keep going.
Finish line. I'm gonna be like Forrest Gump. I'm gonna keep on going past the finish line, past the party, and keep running to get my other mile.
Yeah, you got to get in another mile. You're doing? Is it a 5K turkey trot?
5 miler.
It's a 5 miler. So you need to get in
6.2. So I'm gonna keep on humming. Like I'm gonna go right through the finish line and just fucking keep going. I can't wait.
Turkey trot knowledge for you. We busted this one out on the show, I think last week sometime. The turkey trot in Buffalo is older than the Boston Marathon, which is the oldest marathon in America. Turkey trot, they did it the year before. It's
crazy.
Old, man.
The one here is like 113 or 114 years old. So it'll be interesting because I'm going to actually run my first race since I've been running. Now I'm not going to go balls out because I got to finish up the month. So I'm going to push it pretty hard, but I'm not going to go top speed.
When's the last time you ran a race?
Oh, years ago. I did years and years ago.
Dude, it's different, man. It's hard not to get caught up in it a a bit. I mean, here's me telling you how to run. But, doing those, the 10 5Ks that I did 2 years ago, I'm like, I got to pace myself. And then you just start like seeing other people. It's like, whoa, I'm not letting that little kid pass me. No way. So it's weird. I really hate people passing me. And I'm not a fast runner, but I did okay. I mean, I did really well in my races, but I don't have a problem with a 25-year-old kid passing me. I have a problem with a 50-year-old mom passing me. I have a problem
pushing a stroller.
Like, okay, Daddy, Fat Boy's going to step it up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what your time is.
It will. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try. I mean, my discipline is pretty good. I'm fairly disciplined. I got goals in my mind, and I'm going to haul ass, but I'm going to be very careful about hauling ass. Thing about it is that a 5K, if you've trained for it, you can pretty much just haul ass through it because it's not that long. Okay, from a runner standpoint, it's fucking long. A 5 miler is everyone's going to go out full of piss and vinegar, like you just said, in the first couple miles, shit the bed. Those last 3, that's when you fucking light the jets and you start humming if you've been training properly for it. So we'll see what happens, man. All I know is I'm not a young guy out there running, so it'll be fun to fucking put some people in my rearview mirror. Because it's like, you know what, you've been tuning up your motorcycle, you've been tuning up your car, you want to see how fast it'll go. I've been working on this for a year and a half. What can I do? Bro, you're about to enter a new category. You're getting in with the young pups now. So I know. I'll tell you this about the races. They've got them broken out into like 6 or 7 year, whatever. Yep. I'm sure there's some sort of 40 to 49, which you're days away from getting out of that category, bro. You got 50 coming up. Yep. On Tuesday, I'll turn 50. And actually, you know what? I can't wait because then I'll be in a different bracket and everyone's much older. So hopefully I'll be able to sneak into that bracket and start really winning some races. Yeah, you should be able to smoke everybody. I don't know, man. There's a lot of fucking old dudes running around this town. So we're going to find out tomorrow. I'll post the results here and then we'll talk about it next week. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's been a weird month. It's gone by slow as shit. It's also gone by very, very fast because every morning, no matter what the hell is going on in your world, you're running. And then we'll move on. What's been the worst weather day that you've ran? I had a little bit of rain one morning, but it was just light, no big deal, but it was warm. So warm and rain, who gives a shit? Right. As far as cold, it was like 50 one morning. So you put on the hat, put on some gloves, shorts, head out. As long as your hands are warm, you're good. Your hands get cold pretty quick. That's
yeah.
So
Okay.
I've been lucky so far, and I think the rest of the way is going to be good. And then on the 30th, I am actually going to get up and just run. I have no finish line in mind. I'm going to run until I can't run any farther. I'm going to see how far I can go that day. It could be 6.3 miles. It could be 10 miles. It could be 20 miles. I don't know. I have no idea, but I had to throw another challenge out in front of me because I don't want to just end and be like, okay, there I did my 6.2 and I'm done. I want to fucking add on to it. So I'm going to see if I can go for some serious mileage on Tuesday.
And then Wednesday, December 1st,
I sleep.
When's the next time you run? After the 30th?
Well, it depends on how much damage I do on the 30th. You know what I mean? Like if I just go for 10, 15 miles, feeling okay, I won't run probably again until Friday or Saturday. I'll give myself a few days off, but I'll get back at it. And then I'm going to start training for a marathon in February.
Oh, Godspeed.
I'm a dipshit. But anyway, get healthy, get out there, get a little exercise. You ain't got to do what I do, but just get a little fucking exercise out there. Shit, I was going to bring something up. I forgot what the fuck it was.
Where did the movie soundtrack thing come from? Was it a suggestion? Did somebody send that into us?
There was a suggestion. You think I would have wrote that guy's name down? I did not, because I'm a dick. And I will. You know what? Why don't you talk about our sponsor, and then I will dig this up, and then we'll give this guy credit, because I want to give credit to this guy because he's been a long time listener.
We have one sponsor, guys, and it's Pirates of the Quarter. You kidding me right now? It's awesome. All right, Pirates of the Quarter. All kinds of awards rolling in now for Pirates of the Quarter, named by Travel and Hospitality as 2021's Innovative Tour Company of the Year. They just found out that Luxury Travel Guide named Pirates of the Quarter as the 2021 Cultural Tour Company of the Year. Yeah. These guys are getting it done. What is Pirates of the Quarter? Well, the website, piratesofthequarter.com. Probably better to go to all their socials at Pirates of the Quarter. There's no other walking tour like it in the city of New Orleans, and it's rated 5 stars. It's a ton of fun. I've been on it a couple of times. You learn, you're partying, New Orleans, you can walk around, drinks in your hand. Hey, Captain, can we stop here? Yeah, sure. Grab a beer. Boom, boom, boom. And then there is, I believe that there are tours that are set up to visit certain bars as well. So yeah, if you want to do like one of those bar crawls, absolutely. So discover the pirate history, real pirate history. This is the stuff that the pirates had going down in New Orleans in the French Quarter, okay? Spots are booking up. You can always book in advance. Whenever you're going to New Orleans, make sure you go and check my guys out, all right? At Pirates of the Quarter, real, absolute, amazing stories of things that happened in the French Quarter. Details on the link wherever you get this podcast. And thank you for being, I think, what's kind of our only sponsor now, Pirates of the Quarter. At Pirates of the Quarter. Scope them out.
I got a message from our guys over at the Pirates of the Quarter, and they said they've been getting people from Houston, so the advertising works. And they've said, hey, I listened to the Play Pants podcast, and we heard the advertisement on there, so that's why we're here on this tour. So advertising does work. Advertising works with the Play Pants podcast. If you've got a biz and you're thinking, this is a good place to spend my money,
we're cheap.
Probably don't, is my suggestion. Scott Hernandez, Rod. Scott Hernandez.
Oh, yeah. I know Scott.
You know what's funny is, and if I got it wrong, he's going to let us know because he is not shy. He's been with us as a listener, I think, since we signed on 106.7 the end years ago. I may have this wrong, but again, Scott is not shy. He will let me know. We were on the air in September of 96. We had nothing to give away on the air. This is so timely. Thanksgiving came up and you said, hey, I got to give something funny away on the air. I got to do something. So you gave away turkey basters.
Oh my God.
On the air. And you named them like the fucking Bastomatic. You gave them some fucked up name.
The Bastomatic 2000. And it was $1.50 turkey baster with a sticker on it. It says Bass-O-Matic 2000
with a radio station logo on it. He's
but we actually we had awful computer made labels Bass-O-Matic 2000. It was terrible.
And it was just terrible. You gave away on the air. I think Scott Hernandez says he still has one or he had one for years. Dude, that's funny. So anyway, Scott's always chimed in through the radio station. Any radio station I've ever worked at, he's chimed in on shit over the years. He's always been a great supporter. And of course, we started this out and he's been giving us shit online ever since. And I love that. Okay. He's really smart, really great guy. And he said, hey, why don't you guys do a soundtrack? Those soundtracks are great. And why not do a top 5 favorite soundtracks from movies? And I'm like, shit, that's a good one, man. Because I love watching movies. And the music is such a big part because I think being in this business and being such music fans, I kind of take notice of it maybe a little more than the average fan. You know what I mean? So we're going to do that, Scott Hernandez, with your turkey Bass-O-Matic 2000, which is now old sounding because it's 2021. Right. It's kind of
funny. Futuristic. It was very futuristic when we put that baby out on the streets.
He still got one. That's worth $1.75 today, I'm sure. Now, here's a quick question, Rod. When you did this, when you got the Bass-O-Matics, you obviously had to store that. Did you store that under your bed next to your penis pump, or did you? No, too soon. Is that one still a wound? Is that a wound?
The only storage was, it was just for what I got busted with the penis pump. Back to the penis pump.
Dude, I couldn't let
I did not keep those. No, those were kept in the prize miser's closet, I think.
So why don't you go first? Because mine are fucked up.
What do you mean yours are fucked up? Okay, let's talk about movie soundtracks. I love them. Now, of course, all of our lists are our favorite, right?
There's no right or wrong.
The best movie soundtrack of all time, is it The Bodyguard? I don't know. Probably, but it's not on my fucking list. I'm not going to put The Bodyguard on there, even though Whitney Houston crushes on that. Then there's how well the music meshes with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even into consider? I'm just asking you. I know you can do whatever you want. Anybody can fucking grab a bunch of great songs and throw it on a soundtrack and say, hey, play this during Forrest Gump. Okay.
Right.
I just think that's a mixtape. It's got to work with the movie too, for me, for it to be a great soundtrack. Because not all soundtracks, and you know this to be true because soundtracks became so popular in the CD era and in the 90s, most of those songs you never even heard in the movie. There was no guarantee that the song was going to be heard in the movie. So I kind of looked a little at that too. I'm really into this exercise today. I'm super into it. I'm mad that we only are allowed 5.
Well, because it could go on for, I had like 20 and I'm like, well, no, that's not really good. No, I'm not going to do that one. And really my number one, well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
You're going to quit again. It's okay. I don't mind, because it happens. It's like your threats are very thin.
So I'll just get a couple of you to just turn off our podcast now. Okay. Like Purple Rain is not.
Fuck.
It's not on my list.
It's pretty good though. Yeah. And again, I'm not going to sit around cranking Purple Rain, although, maybe I will. Yeah, but you're right. It's not my wheelhouse. I love it. The soundtrack is great. It's an album.
And again, I'm saying all these things out loud, not worried at all about what shit list you have over there. But, if I want to put on the Dazed and Confused soundtrack, I'll listen to Jason Ginty on the Bayou in New Orleans on middays, and I'll hear the Dazed and Confused soundtrack, even though it meshed amazing with the story, and it was perfect because it was timely. It's the same thing. Like, what's the movie with the boomers? Remember they had heard it through the grapevine. They had all those actors of a certain age.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
The great big something or other, the great big shit. You know, Kevin Costner dies in the movie, and he's not even in it, but he's the guy that they're all celebrating. And it's them in their like 30s, late 30s. I'll think of it.
But those
it's
songs,
a great soundtrack. It's just the greatest hits though of Motown.
But all that is setting the era. You know, it's helping to create the sense of that time that these guys are in. Without the songs, guess what? That movie doesn't work. It doesn't work. And this has nothing to do with soundtracks, because no one's going to sit around cranking this up unless you're some kind of crazy person. Think about the original Star Wars movie, okay? Without John Williams' soundtrack, which was a true soundtrack, there were no hits in that movie, unless you think about the Cantina song. There were no hits at all, but the music is what sold that movie. If you don't have that music in Star Wars doesn't work. We don't get 10 more movies. We don't, without John Williams and his score. That's a score. That's not a soundtrack, but that's where things started getting really rolling with music.
Another thing, because I took out Last of the Mohicans. I love that soundtrack. It's a score.
That's a score.
You told me that you wanted to do a soundtrack. I can listen. I think it's Trevor Rabin. Is it Trevor? Something like that. The Last of the Mohicans. And I'm not even going to sing anymore because I don't want you making a fucking video of me.
What do you mean, Ringo? What do you mean, Ringo? What was the problem? You know, another one that's a score is the Brave. I actually have it. I got the Braveheart soundtrack.
Okay, that's badass too. And then
it's just fucking great. It's just great to put on in the background. It's like, okay, it gets a little bit much after a while, but it's good. But we're way off of topic now. So soundtracks with actual songs on them. How about that?
The Big Chill is the movie that I was thinking of, where it's Jeff Goldblum and everybody's around the same age, and it's just Motown. You know, they're listening. Right. It's a great soundtrack, but it's just, you can turn on XM Sirius Radio, Motown on 5 or whatever. And so, okay, well, here we go.
Let's do this shit. I can't wait to hear this. This is gonna be fun, because then we can rip each other apart, and that's why we do this.
This was very difficult. Okay, in at number 5. 1998, the movie Rushmore.
Ooh.
Amazing soundtrack. And here's why. I don't even know that I'm like the biggest Wes Anderson fan, but I think I am. Like, I think I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of his early movies. Bottle Rocket, I think, was the first one. The movie, a lot of it was filmed here. Like the school that the kid goes to, he was here. He was off of Westheimer. So he's here in Houston.
Okay.
And they filmed here long before I moved here. That movie came out in 1998. But Wes Anderson is just as good as Martin Scorsese, is just as good as Quentin Tarantino in weaving the music into the fabric of what's going on. And it's like 60s Brit pop. I mean, there's some Who, there's some Kinks in there, but they're not hits. He didn't go with the hits, and it's unbelievable. It's almost like the music it ages the film, and it makes it seem like it's supposed to be at another time period. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. And the Kinks and the Who is what I really, really remember about that. In at number 4. Singles. 1992, at the peak, grunge is everywhere, and you put the CD on and you hear Alice in Chains Wood.
There weren't a lot of hits on that. There's not like hits on there. There's Wood, but then there's like a deep Chris Cornell song on there that was on it. There's a deep Smashing Pumpkins song. There's a Jimi Hendrix song on there, I think. I mean,
right.
It's not like it's hit, but it's fits, and it's so fucking good. It's so good.
But it's the first time I heard a Chris Cornell solo song.
Yep.
And it was Seasons.
Such a great
and
song.
Holy shit, is it good? Mother Love Bone is on there, and that Mudhoney is another one of these bands that was around before the grunge explosion. And the song is called Overblown. And it's just talking about, it's so overblown. It's like, everyone's here now. It's just ridiculous. What's happening to my city? Nearly Lost You is also on there. So there were a couple of hits on there.
There was a couple of hits.
Screaming Trees, Nearly Lost You was on there. And then don't forget Mother Love Bone. It's one of the all-time greats. And it's in at number 4 for me. So
here's a question though. Here's a question. And this is sort of a philosophical thing. I've always thought that the Singles movie, because it came out, would you say 92, I think?
92. And you got to give Cameron Crowe some credit. He didn't just go capitalize. He was living there.
No, this was filmed before really everything got going. He got lucky as shit. But without Singles, the movie coming out, I'm telling you, it had an effect on the whole grunge thing. It helped move it along faster. It helped make it bigger because the movie was perfect. It was all the people who are our age, Gen X now, living that lifestyle. They were there. They were in the clubs. I mean, growing up in Buffalo, we were going to clubs. The music wasn't as good, but we were going to clubs.
When was the last time you watched it?
Fucking long time ago.
Okay. The name of the band, Citizen Dick.
Citizen Dick. Just a shitty name for a band. But it was great. But does Singles help? I think it helps a lot push the grunge thing forward. I
just
really
don't think
it did.
It wasn't like it wasn't Jerry Maguire. It wasn't a huge movie.
No,
I don't think it hurt. I think it helped, but yeah, it just wasn't huge. Nirvana was approached about, getting involved with it, and they wanted nothing to do with it. And everyone else was cool with it, man. I mean, Chris Cornell's in the movie,
Eddie Vedder too.
Alice in Chains is performing in the movie. Eddie Vedder's in Citizen Dick. So is the bass player. They're in a couple of scenes, but Nirvana wanted nothing to do with it. Wow. Dave Grohl talked about that a little bit. I forgot what he said. They weren't interested in having anything to do with it at all.
But it helped because it just, again, that's one of those things where everything was lining up. You had the Nirvana, you had Alice in Chains, you had Pearl Jam. Then this movie comes out, and it all
Heart
just
does that. Heart does. I don't think they go by Heart on there, but Heart does a Zeppelin cover on there.
I think you're right. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Mountain Hop, maybe, or something. I don't know any of the fucking Zeppelin song titles.
No, I don't think it's that. But I'll be listening to that this weekend for sure. Single soundtrack, great one, great choice.
That's my number 4. In at number 3. I'll punch you right through this Zoom call.
You can.
High Fidelity is number 3 for me. High Fidelity, Jason and I, it's the last house that we're living together. High Fidelity comes out in 2000. And right around 2001 or so, I don't know, for some reason, that was the soundtrack to our weekend. We would put it on and we would just have a pool party.
Yeah.
And that was on in the background. That thing played from start to finish. Even that shitty, song at the very end, which is like supposed to be the band that's in the movie, like the punk thrasher kids.
Yeah.
High Fidelity is an amazing movie. The songs on there, it opened me up to going and exploring new music. I am not the world's biggest Elvis Costello fan, and it made me go look at the band Love. I never even heard of them before.
So great.
Our buddy Stager was there. He loved the soundtrack. I just feel like we spent a whole summer listening to that soundtrack every weekend.
I'll tell you why. It's simple. 2 of the laziest motherfuckers in the room. That's why. You want to know why? Because we had a little shitty boombox outside, right?
Yeah,
and this was on CD. And all our CDs were way in the house while you're wet from the pool. You ain't going to get up and go through the house to go get more music. So it was just there. And we just kept, people would show up, bring beers. We start drinking. All right, hit play. Boom, there it is. We just listening to that shit every single weekend.
Every weekend, right?
So for this whole summer.
Is it? I mean, I number one, I put it on there because I like the collection of songs. Mm-hmm. I think that's important. The songs are used in the movie. Every song on that soundtrack is in the movie. And oddly enough, the movie, the guy runs around, does nothing but make top 5 lists.
Right.
So that's interesting to me. And then personally, there's such a connection to that to that soundtrack. Like I said, like Jason said, we listened to it so much. That was my number 3. And this was a very difficult assignment.
Wait. Before you go on to number 2, because I want to build the anticipation. You said a very important thing. A soundtrack will make you go discover other music. Okay.
Yes.
That's exactly what these things have done for me. Like High Fidelity is a great example. I heard Love, their song on there, and I still listen to it to this day. It's so freaking great. I went out and got on this whole kick with all of Love's music from the late 60s.
I never heard of the band called
Arthur
Love.
Lee. Oh, it's a fucking great band. And then like
Before High Fidelity, we never heard of them.
I would not have any idea. So like I've gone out and dug around all these bands that you hear on soundtracks, which is really, for me, music discovery is one of the greatest things you can do. So good point, Rodney.
In at number 2, The Crow.
Wow, I'm surprised at that one, but that is a great fucking soundtrack.
Yeah, one of the things that was a signature of 90s soundtracks was covers. And so it's the secret's out why I love soundtracks, so movie soundtracks so much, because in the 90s, you can see where I'm very trapped in everything that I'm delivering you today. That was a signature of movie soundtracks back in the day. It really was. There was just covers. And you would discover weird covers, and it didn't matter what movie it was. CDs would come into the station all the time, and I always grabbed the soundtracks.
Yep.
I always grabbed them. And I could have done a top 30 soundtrack list. That's how much I love them. So for me to bring and deliver you my top 5, this is one of the hardest assignments that we've had since we've been doing this. I just grabbed movie soundtracks because you just knew there was going to be a gem on there.
Yep.
You know, you got to just appreciate and like music. Who gives a shit what the movie is? There's great. I mean, Adam Sandler is another one. He's great. His soundtracks are amazing. I can't stand Adam Sandler movies, but he had everything to do with the curation of the songs that are in those movies of his.
Yeah.
His soundtracks were always great. So, I mean, The Crow, obviously the Stone Temple Pilots song, which is barely in the movie.
Still, it's one of their best songs.
I think it's on the radio when they're in the car, right?
Yeah, when they get in the red car and there's a chase scene. It's fucking so good.
But 9 Inch Nails Joy Division cover is just, I mean, it's just unbelievable. The Cure, it's just great. And that movie, again, it was so big for me back in the day. And the number 1 soundtrack of all time.
Wow, this is big.
Just because I think he is the absolute best at it. And it was tough to pick a movie, but I got to go with Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction turned me on for the same thing that you recognized me for saying earlier, how important it was. Pulp Fiction turned me on to Who is Link Ray? Link Ray is the guy that invented distortion. He stuck a pencil in his fucking amp, and then all of a sudden,
yep,
freaking the cone of the speaker is making distortion. Link Ray. I never heard of Link Ray. Thank you, Quentin Tarantino, for turning me on to so much music. And that surfer, that Dick Dale, whatever the hell it was. I don't even know if that's him, but just awesome. Just amazing. I don't think Martin Scorsese is great.
Mm-hmm.
He's the king of it. He started it, I think. But I mean, maybe Easy Rider started it as far as like the soundtrack. Maybe Easy Rider. But Scorsese is the one that really did it better than anyone until Quentin Tarantino came along. And I just think he's better. I don't think he's a better director than Scorsese. But as far as curating music for his movies and when to use them and what to pick, geez, man, where did he come up with this stuff?
He nails
I think Pulp Fiction is the best movie soundtrack of all time.
The Urge Overkill cover of the Neil Diamond song "Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon."
Again, cover songs, of course.
But who even thinks that's a thing? I mean, like he could have used a Neil Diamond version. I'm sure he could have.
So Urge Overkill sends it. He wanted Urge Overkill to do it.
Oh, really? Okay.
He wanted Urge Overkill to do it. He was a fan. And Urge Overkill was kind of popping with that one album.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I want you to do Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon from Neil Diamond. So they send it to them. And I swear I didn't know you were going to bring that song up. They mail it back to Quentin Tarantino. They do like a rough, quick and dirty in the studio, kind of a live thing, very muddy and everything. And they sent it to Quentin Tarantino and they said, like this? He said, no, this. They're begging him, no, please do not put that on the album. It's not finished. He goes, it's done. This is what I want. Boom.
Oh, so just the raw, shitty, what they thought was shitty version is what ended up being the movie? Oh,
Yep. They're like, please let us redo it. This was just, this was just us. We wanted to see if this is the way you wanted it. He goes, this is what I want in my movie. And it's great. And
that's tough as an artist. Like, think about those guys in the band. They probably fought tooth and nail. Like, no, this is shit. Because if your voice is off, if you're off key, you're gonna catch shit for that by some asshole. You know what I mean? Like, and that's happened in a lot of different situations over the years with different songs where producers like, no, that's the one we're going with, and the band's like, what? No, don't want to do that. Wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's and Tarantino is probably the best at that because he doesn't just throw songs in there wildly. Because there's a lot of movies I've watched over the years, especially lately, the last 5 or 6 years. There's just songs in there that you're just like, oh, they're just fucking throwing that in there. That doesn't even fit. It's shit.
Right. But back when we were buying CDs, they would put songs on albums and they weren't even in the movie just to sell CDs because they knew soundtracks were selling.
Right.
So that was where it got a little nutty. I mean, soundtracks were big sellers. They were. In some cases, they eclipsed the movie. And I think probably with singles is probably the case, one of the cases with that. But there was nothing more obvious than throwing Green Day on your, and it wasn't even used in the movie.
Right, because that way you would get all the album sales, and that's all that mattered. So, and again, at the end of the day, the reason I love the soundtracks is because of the music discovery. That it sends me on a journey. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this band? And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, these guys are pretty damn good. Oh, cool. I can't
wait to hear yours. I can't wait to.
I wouldn't get that excited.
I can't wait.
And I didn't. It's fucking. I hate these lists. God, I hate this part of the show. Although I love it too. I really love it, but I hate it because I just want to keep changing it. It's never going to stay the same. I wanted to put Saturday Night Fever on my list. Think about that. All the disco, the Bee Gees.
It's one of the biggest albums of all time, and it is a movie soundtrack.
It's so fucking great.
Like The Bodyguard, But yeah, amazing that they were used for that whole movie.
And it helps to sell the movie because without those songs, that movie is shit. It really is. It's not as good. The songs make the movie. Another movie that you got to go back even older, and I don't necessarily love the songs, but you got to go back to George Lucas and American Graffiti. It's a early 1970s movie about the 1950s. Okay, and this launched Happy Days. It launched Ron Howard's career, Harrison Ford's career. Richard Dreyfuss was in it. And it's just this movie about all these kids in these hot rods cruising around Pasadena and drag racing. It's just doing dumb shit. But they got Wolfman Jack, who was the DJ, and he was, he's the king. Still to this day, there's nobody better than the Wolfman,
Right.
And he's part of it. So it's like Wolfman Jack is on the car radios playing the Beach Boys and Buddy Holly and, all that really old shit. But these kids are cruising around. So, you got your dialogue and all your stuff. And then you're listening to this song. But it's not like it's coming through the speakers full blast like it does today in movie soundtracks. It sounds like it's coming through the car radios. So it doesn't sound as good. And it's just like, it's so well done. Without the music in that movie is shit. It really is shit. And I didn't even put those on my list, but those are two good ones to check out.
That's a great movie just for radio nerds, because it's woven in and out of them. All the kids are listening to the Wolfman.
He's on
the radio.
And they look at their stories about him, how he's a legend. He's down in Mexico and he's got this illegal station. And then some guy goes, he's fucking down the street, bro. It's
right.
So if you're into radio or music, American Graffiti it's a good movie still. And it holds up. It kind of gives you the insight into the old days. At number 5 is, and you're going to give me shit, Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. The reason I say that, it's a superhero movie. It's good. It's got.
Come and get your love.
But what they did.
Redbone, blah, 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 blah.
What they did with that movie was, at first I was like, what the fuck? How are these songs in a superhero movie? I don't get it. But then when they weaved it through the movie, you're like, oh, I totally get it now.
There's a port in the western town. Sailor said, Brandy. Sorry.
You know,
this is your time.
I'm just writing the next promo for this. You know,
Sorry, this is your time, please.
Okay. I will let you sing
You're
all day
a
long.
fine girl. What a good wife you would be.
Dude, my dog is howling right now. Holy shit. Guardians of the Galaxy did a great job because they used popular songs, but you'd forgotten about them. Like Brandy. I didn't hear that song for years. And all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I forgot about that song. That's a good song. And there's a bunch of other ones that use it.
My love and my lady is the sea. I won't give you shit because that's one of the superhero movies that I saw. And that cassette tape is brilliant. A part of the story.
It's
right.
Brilliant.
His mom made him that mixtape, and that's like his memory of his mom. So it's woven in. And so I won't give you shit about that. I think that's actually that was a huge selling soundtrack. Yeah. A massive selling soundtrack.
And it was, the music was great in it too, man. And thanks for just drying up vaginas for girls named Brandy. Wow. Okay.
Brandy.
Number 4, I had the Crow movie soundtrack. I don't think we're going to talk about that anymore. I think we got that covered.
You got it at 4.
I had it at 4. The Nine Inch Nails song, the Cure song they use in there is so fucking good. It's when he's getting all fucking painted up for the first time and all that shit. And it's like, that song is so great. And I don't even like The Cure. That made me a Cure fan. And I went out and started digging The Cure after that. It took that for me to punch into digging The Cure. So it just shows you where the combination of the movie, the scene, I went, hey, you know what? That's not a bad song. Maybe I need to do a little more listening for that band. And it worked. I'm a Cure fan. Yeah. The Crow is a great soundtrack. Number 3. Shit.
Forrest Gump.
Nah, I can't. I play that shit on the radio every day. You know what? I put it number 3, Dazed and Confused. I did. Okay. I don't necessarily need to hear Sweet Emotion ever again in my life. Great song. I play it every day. But Dazed and Confused, they just used it wasn't just music to be there. It was woven into the story. It works. All right. We're going to go get some Aerosmith tickets, man. You know what I mean? Like, it worked. Right. It just worked for the movie. So Dazed, and it set the time for the era. They worked the clothes, they worked the vibe, they worked the cars, and they had the music. It just fit. That was number 3. Number 2, it's not fair. We watch the same fucking movies all the time. Singles. Still put that on. Man, you want to fucking put on a good album and you're missing the grunge scene, put on Singles. This front to back. Love it. Love that. And it's in the Cornell song. I'd forgotten what Seasons, right?
Seasons. And that was the first time that I heard him solo.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that now.
It's amazing. I mean, that voice is so recognizable, but at that time, he was just the singer of Soundgarden, had this phenomenal voice, but he was just singing Jesus Christ Pose. That's what you knew about him. Right. And then it's just, what is this song? And it was him and a jangly acoustic guitar, and he's amazing.
And nobody knew at the time. Well, I'm sure people around Chris Cornell knew at the time, but nobody in the mainstream knew anything. They're like, that's the dude who sings Outshine? No.
We just thought he was a grungy metal guy.
Yeah. And then that came out. I'm like, ooh, this guy can really fucking do it. And that was a sign of things to come. Number 1, and I cheated. Why? Because it's our fucking list, dude. I wrote down Quentin Tarantino. I didn't even say which movie because every fucking soundtrack he puts together is great. I cheated. I just did.
You can't.
I did.
You can't.
Did.
You got to pick.
Yep. No.
I would have given you Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and I've said, okay, you didn't at least puss out and just put Quentin Tarantino down.
Okay, you know what? You're right. It's not fair. I should pick, so I will pick.
I mean, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2,
great,
is probably his second best soundtrack. I think Pulp Fiction is the best.
If you go back,
that was just you forget how huge it was, man. It was just massive.
If you remember the dual movie he did with Robert Rodriguez, where it was Death Proof, that was one with a car that Kurt Russell killed everybody in. And then Robert Rodriguez did the double feature, the second part. It was all zombies and weird shit. I've never really watched. I watched that once. I'm like, okay, that was okay. The first part of it is so fucking great. And if you've seen it, they got the old black, like 72 Nova.
Dude, I've seen that car driving around. I saw that car driving around on I-10.
That's scary as shit because that car is fucking scary. Look,
well, so they filmed in Austin,
right?
And it could have been I'm sure they probably, with movies, they got 4 and 5 cars, but I've seen that Death Trap car. I saw it once.
It's awesome. So fun.
I was like, whoa, it was dirty, everything. It was like the movie set car.
But when when we talked a minute ago about discovering music, okay, there's the scene in that movie, Death Proof, where it's when Kurt Russell, the girls all take off out of the bar and they're going to go wherever the fuck they're going. And then Kurt Russell passes them. And then he comes and they're going head to head. He turns the lights off and there's a song being played, right? And it's this fucking weird band. It's like Dave, D, Dozy, Mick, and Titch. The chick explains it in the fucking movie. So go watch the movie. Anyway, the song, I had never heard it before. It starts playing. And by the time the scene is over, I'm fucking stopping the movie and going and looking up the song. It was that good. I had never heard it before in my life. And now I still play it when I'm running and shit. That's when he smashes into the girls and there's body parts flying everywhere. That song is great. So Death Proof has got a good soundtrack. You know what I've been stuck on lately, and it took me a few watches, but the new one he did, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's got some great fucking songs in it. And
every one of them is great.
But they work.
Every one of the soundtracks.
And that's done so well again, where it's kind of telling stories along the way. And it's a big tribute to the LA radio scene back then, because they got some of the old boss jocks on the air in the movie. And then the final scene, if you haven't seen it yet, well, tough shit. The final scene when they kill everybody, they're playing Vanilla Fudge's version. It's their song of You Keep Me Hanging On. And it's just fucking way different. It's not poppy. It's heavy. It's badass. Anyway, you can't beat the Quentin Tarantino stuff. It always, his shit just fits. It's right. An honorable mention. And it didn't, and at first I was like, this is not going to fucking work. Because I heard somebody tell me about it. And it's going back to superhero movies, which most of the time the music is, it seems like it's a little gratuitous. They're just throwing it in to have a hit.
Right.
And I forget, it was like the most recent fucking Thor movie. They used Immigrant Song during a scene, and it's a fight scene. I'm telling you, man, I've played Immigrant Song 10,000 times on the radio. I've heard it another 10,000 times. I don't ever need to hear that song again. I'm in the theater, and the way the scene worked, when that song came on, fucking, the hairs on my arm are fucking standing up, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Start puffing up in your pants.
I'm like, ooh, my zipper just got tied, Rodney. And anyway, so yeah, it's just, that's the magic. If you can fit the scene with that song, it's so badass. And by the way, never watch a movie with me and Rod, because we'll fucking talk through the whole thing.
True.
And telling you about what songs are right.
I do have to say, on the fringe for me, it's probably my newest movie too, 2007, Into the Wild. Into the Wild is Eddie Vedder's first solo album. It really is. Eddie Vedder's just putting out another solo album. His first solo album is the movie soundtrack, much like they did. The Graduate is all Simon and Garfunkel.
Right.
The whole soundtrack. It's all Simon and Garfunkel songs, which is not true about Saturday Night Fever. There's other bands in Saturday Night Fever, but it's mostly Bee Gees. Into the Wild, Sean Penn, he did a song for him for his other movie. He did that Beatles cover, and Sean Penn loved it. So Sean Penn said, hey, I'm going to be doing this movie. It's all me. I want you to do the music for it. And he's like, okay, what's it about? And Into the Wild is a true story about a kid that goes backpacking, doesn't want any worldly possessions. He goes up to Alaska, and then end of the movie, he dies. Okay. But it's a true story. But Eddie Vedder, who I don't think has a great voice. He's not in my top 50 lead singers. He's not. But the songs fit the movie so well. And he was just feeding him information. Sean Penn, they were, because they were pals. He was feeding him information, and he was just churning out these songs. And not all of them are long. Some of them are 2.5 minutes. Some of them are 1.5 minutes and 3-minute songs. Whatever Sean Penn needed for the movie, he did it. Now, he did do a cover, again, me and the covers, but Big Hard Sun.
Great.
And not everybody knew that was a cover, but it's a Canadian dude. And Eddie really brought that song to everybody and made them discover that song. And that song is absolutely amazing. That is one of those soundtracks that it's as good as the movie, and the movie's fucking great.
It's a great movie. It's hard to watch.
It wouldn't be as good without that music. It just would not be as good.
Nope, absolutely not.
That was on the fringe for me. We had our moment when Swingers was a big deal, and the Swinger soundtrack and the swing, it was cool, and the soundtrack was cool. I'm going to lay a little knowledge on you right now.
Oh shit. You're not going to sing, are you?
No.
That's good.
But I'm going to talk to you about diegetic music and non-diegetic music.
The fuck? Oh, thanks for listening. Good night.
Okay. So this came into my brain after watching the movie. Did you see Baby Driver?
I did. I don't remember it at all.
Okay. It's great. It's great. And the music's great. The thing about that movie is the kid is listening to the song as you're listening to the song. Okay. So the background music that can't be heard when John Travolta is walking down the street. We really need to play music on this podcast, and we can't. We can't afford it.
Yeah, we
can't afford it.
Yeah, they'd shut this down.
Nobody thinks that Rocky is hearing the trumpets when he's working out.
Right.
That's non-diegetic music. That's for us. But diegetic music is what you're talking about for
American Graffiti. Yeah, American Graffiti.
Dazed and Confused.
It's in the car. It's playing.
They're playing it in the car. That's diegetic. You're experiencing that song with them.
Okay, gotcha.
Again, Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, the character, Rocky Balboa, he's running down the street. There's not a bunch of trumpets following him around.
Well, he's where it was.
That's just for us.
Gotcha.
So now you know the difference between diegetic and non-diegetic music.
All right. I like it. Very cool.
Anybody listening still? Nope. I see not. Sorry.
Thank God we got the sponsor in.
Didn't know fucking knowledge was not appreciated on this pod.
One of the you brought this movie up earlier too, was Easy Rider. In fact, that's one of the greatest opening scenes to a movie. Not opening scenes, but titles scene. Because the scene opens up, they're making a fucking drug deal and they're putting their shit in their motorcycle tanks and all the drugs. But when it fucking hits that doom, and then you hit that drum beat, get your motor running, head on the highway, and then the bikes, and they're coming across. Fuck, it's so good. It's so damn good, man. It just fits perfectly.
I don't know if that's thought of as ground zero of like movie soundtracks. Like, hey, we should sell the songs that are in this movie. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, but non-diegetic.
I'm sure we missed a lot. And I hope people put on lists. And again, this is, at the end of the day, this is all about discovery. The movies we talk about, discovery, music, the songs like that, the soundtracks just opens up a whole nother world. Cause I'll go chasing, I'll go down rabbit holes for hours. Who is this band I've never heard of? Okay, let's go see what else they got. And with YouTube nowadays and everything else, it's fairly simple to do the research, now. So if you got a soundtrack on, you're like, oh, who the fuck are these guys? Whoa, that's cool. I dig it.
So 2 that I'll turn you on to, and then we'll move on because we got to get to our sponsor. Oh, no, we don't have any more. Oh, that's fine. Little Soldiers. It's all covers, and it's awesome. Little Soldiers is definitely. I remember the Cult being on there. There's just a ton of bands, and it's just bizarre. And Judgment Night was a movie, 1993, and they tried to mishmash bands together. So every song is a collab, and I get it. That's all you get now is collabs. And it wasn't like people didn't collaborate before,
right?
But Cypress Hill and Pearl Jam do a song together, and House of Pain and Helmet. It was weird because they wanted their soundtrack to be a little different. So, and then they did use it in the movie, but two that I'll turn you on to: Small Soldiers and Judgment Night. There's a couple of gems. It's just, they're not all great. I just thought it was great that they tried something different. They definitely tried to do something different on those soundtracks.
You know what we wouldn't even talk about was heavy metal.
Ah, fuck. Forgot about it.
Heavy metal. How did I skip that one? Because that's got a couple of good. There's a Deep Purple on there. Sammy Hagar's Heavy Metal is on there. I don't remember it very well, but it seems like that had some good songs in it. The movie was fucking, I never think I watched the whole thing. I got bored.
It's awesome. I love that movie.
Oh, really? Yeah. I got through it.
Fucking love that movie. And I love that soundtrack. And I'm so mad that you just brought that up right now. It wouldn't have been in my top 5.
No, but I just happen to think of it right now. I'm like, ooh, Heavy Metal was a good one too. There's a good song. And I know we missed it.
Donald Fagen did that to take that. We really need to be able to play music on this thing. I can't be singing these songs. There was two songs called Heavy Metal on the soundtrack, and Sammy's wasn't the best one, dude.
Oh, really? Okay. Now I got more fucking songs to go listen to. I hate this show. This is so dumb. I end up giving myself more work to do. I don't want to do anymore. I'm lazy. Wow. That's what's great about this. Please put your top 5 or just mention soundtracks that we should check out in the comments section on YouTube. By the way, like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Or on our social media pages, and then just tell us ours suck too. We don't care. I just like it for the this helps me to discover more shit, because after a while you're like, I'm listening to the same music all the time. I'm sick of hearing these same fucking songs all the time. So anytime I get to discover new shit, I get excited. Even if it's old stuff, I don't care as long as it's good. Who gives a shit? Rod, we got to. Do we have to talk about our sponsors? Am I?
Queen of the Damned is the other one. Queen of the Damned. Yeah, another one to go check out.
David Draymond, Korn do a lot of really cool, heavy shit.
Metal, and that's that girl died. Aaliyah, right?
Yeah, Aaliyah. Died. She was crazy.
She died like very young.
That's a pretty good movie. I'll fucking go and say that's a good movie. I like it. Never saw it, but have the soundtrack. Fucking metal. Damn. Metal. Queen of the Damned. Wouldn't be in my top 5, but it's just another one I want to turn you on to. That's a good one too. Shit. Oh man, see now I gotta have to go do more homework. All right, what were you going to say? Sponsors? Yeah, Lucky's. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're done. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sponsoring us. We do appreciate all your support the last 31 episodes. Nice ride. So this week, Rod, we've had a lot of dude, I sent you like a montage of death. That's what they call it. So I did see it. Did you watch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony? I watched the other night, and actually that was pretty well done. This is the first time I watched it. I wasn't bored to death. I watched a lot of it. I mean, I fast forward through artists I didn't give a shit about, but like I hate that Taylor Swift walked out first thing. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and they fucking slap you in the face. They're like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna Taylor Swift. It's like, you son of a bitch. I knew they were going to put the Foo Fighters in last. I'm not worried about that. Right. But having one of the biggest Pop-Tarts out there right now open the damn show. Again, I get it. It's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's the Music Hall of Fame. It basically is. So yeah. I'm over that. It'd be like bitching about why isn't MTV playing videos? Same thing. I did think it was disrespectful having her walk out there. That's just me. Sorry, I'm done. She did a great job. I'm not going to take credit away. She did a great fucking job. Her speech was great. She sang great. Carole King, awesome. You think I fucking hate pop? The highlight of the night was fucking Christina Aguilera singing Tina Turner. That was like unbelievable. It was the best thing of the entire night. It was so much better than the Foo Fighters performance. Foo Fighters were great. They're always great. Holy shit. It was good. Yeah. It was fun to watch. It was good. So they did this. I could not believe. Now that is a very inclusive montage of death. They always talk about the one at the Oscars because they always leave off, fucking Edith Bunker or something, and they, everybody's outraged the next day, even though you don't care about Edith Bunker. The bunkers care, dude. The bunkers care. But this is a weird week. Okay. So on Monday, 24 years ago, 1997, Michael Hutchins was found dead.
I love In Excess. Like, I fucking love In Excess. They were never my favorite band, but boy, when Kick came out, and I still have it on vinyl, you cannot deny that that's one of the great pop rock albums of all time. It really is. I'll fight anybody on that. That album's phenomenal. Michael Hutchence was one of the best frontmen out there, and I would put him up there in Steven Tyler air. That's how great he was. He was just, you couldn't take your eyes off of him. I never saw him live. I came late to the NXS game. At first I was like, I don't dig it. I didn't like it. And it took me years to finally go, oh, I get it now. You know what I mean? Like, it took me a while to warm up to him. Now I love NXS. I played all the time at the house. And that dude he was magnetic. You got a little percentage of Jim Morrison in that guy. Yep. You got a lot of little factors, and he was just unbelievable rock star. Looked great. Rock star. Sounded cool. Fucking looked cool. Everything he did was cool. There's a few documentaries out there about NXS, and some are okay. There's a movie where they cast people as NXS. You got to understand, they're the biggest thing in Australia. So I think it was made by the Australian Film Institute or Film Industry, or they got backed by that. Right. The people that they cast, because I don't know if you remember back in the day, VH1 was doing this, and they made a Def Leppard movie, and there's a couple of shitty ones that I've seen before. And I don't think it should have been in the theaters or anything, but the people that they cast, and Michael Hutchence has got to sell it. You got to have somebody in there that's phenomenal. The dude is phenomenal as Michael Hutchence. And then the main story guy, the chubby guy, it looks exactly like him. I wish I could tell you like where to go find it, but it's really good. And it's 2 parts, 2 hours. It's going to be about 4 hours long. It's great. You'll learn everything you need to know about NXS. Michael Hutchence was a fucking rock star. So on Monday, it was 24 years. I heard about his death when it happened. I had to go look it up to make sure I was right. It was U2 Pop Mart tour, Superdome. We're getting out of the concert, and on our radio station, they're talking about Michael Hutchence passing away. So that was what year? I'm looking at my notes here. 97? 1997. So that's U2 on the Pop Mart tour. And they're playing the Superdome. And we were in the car coming home from the show. And not you and I think I was with Dave, but they were talking about it on the radio. And so I remember where I was when he died, or when I found out that he died. I remember that exact moment. So Tuesday, today's Wednesday. Yesterday was 30 years that Freddie Mercury revealed that he had AIDS. Waited till the last possible moment because today, 30 years ago in 1991, Freddie Mercury died of pneumonia brought on by AIDS. He was 45 years old. I don't remember. I don't remember the announcement of Freddie's passing. Everybody knew that he was really, really sick. He hadn't talked about it. I feel like I remember the announcement, the AIDS announcement, more than the death. Yeah, because that one was like, whoa. Everybody knew he had AIDS, but he didn't talk about it because if you remember those videos that he was making, he was so gaunt, but he could still sing his ass off. I remember where I was when I found out. I found out at college at NCCC, dude, when we were going to college. Some dude, one of the guys at the radio station, I think it was Tom. I forget what, anyway, he goes up to me, he goes, dude. Oh, Tom. That's right. Yeah, Tom was always first on that info. He's like, man, fucking Freddie Mercury's dead. I go, what? What do you mean he's dead? He goes, yeah, he's dead. I just found out. He was bummed. Like, he was a huge Queen fan. He was just like devastated. I was like, wow, that sucks, but okay. I wasn't a Queen fan back then. I wasn't either. I came late to the game to Queen. I was like, because Queen was kind of like that, 91. I was in grunge. I was in all the new shit. Queen was kind of faded away at that point. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like everyone sitting around listening to Queen. When I was a kid, Another One Bites the Dust was on the radio, and it was like a disco-y thing. Right. And, of course I liked everybody, We Will Rock You was a little bit older. So it was before. Unfortunately, I came into Queen on Another One Bites the Dust, the game. And it wasn't classic Queen that I went to go back and I loved. But I don't remember that being an impact on me. 1991, I'm just,
I got my head in my
adult.
ass. Yeah.
I'm just an adult that doesn't know anything that's going on in the world or anything.
We're talking about music discovery, which is really what it's all about at the end of the day. I became a Queen fan. I played it on the radio, but I never was like, oh yeah, Queen. I was just like, yeah, Queen's great. Awesome. Freddie Mercury's awesome. Great. Okay. My son was like 3 or 4 at the time, and somehow he heard a Queen song in the car, and he's like, at any time it came on the radio, he just went ape shit. He fucking it connected with my son. So then I was like, well, the boy likes Queen. Let's go crank up some Queen at the house, see what he thinks. And so then I went out and got like the vinyl Queen's Greatest Hits, which is great, by the way. I think it's a double album, actually. Anyway, I started putting that on at the house, and he's fucking dancing. And, he's like 4 or 5 years old. And because of his infectious vibe towards it, for whatever reason, now I'm fucking Queen fan number one. Then, years later, he's 13 now. What was it, like 3 or 4 years ago, the movie came out. So we're sitting there. We know every song now because we've been listening to it all the time in the house. And you're seeing how the songs were written and Freddie Mercury and all this shit throughout the movie. And it just really connects all the dots. And now I'm like super fan for Queen, because of weirdest elements that I never thought I would like Queen like that.
And people don't realize that Queen was far bigger in the world than they were here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Everybody saw the movie and all of that. The timeline is way off on that. And I'm fine. I'm fine with all of it. I thought the movie was great. But it just, Queen was not huge here. They really weren't. They were big everywhere. So Freddie Mercury dies 30 years ago today. Also on the same day, Eric Carr passed away. As I'm doing this whole montage of death today.
Nice.
He was the second drummer in Kiss, so he actually got to wear makeup. So he came out as the Fox. And then he also was in the band when they took off the makeup. So there's only 2 guys that got to wear makeup. It was him and Vinnie Vincent. Vinnie Vincent had that ankh on his head, and I don't know if
weird.
It's called an ankh. It was bad.
I don't know what that is.
It was bad. He looked bad with it. He looked bad without it. But Eric Carr was a far better drummer than the original drummer, Peter Criss. I don't care who I piss off. I don't think you can piss anybody off. He was just a better drummer.
Yeah.
He was awesome. And he passed away on the same day, and you don't want to be dying on the same day as a huge person.
No, you don't get a lot of press.
Farrah Fawcett died on the same day as Michael Jackson.
Yeah, which,
she did you remember that or no?
Yeah.
Did you remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's one of those like footnotes, like Farrah Fawcett should have gotten her own day,
Yeah. She was dead. Didn't matter. That's what sucks. It's for us, the living, that's a big deal because the headlines are all going to be Michael Jackson. They're all going to be, Freddie Mercury. Poor Eric Carr was like, the second, oh yeah, by the way, this happened,
So my list of where were you when you heard, as far as rock stars, it goes Elvis, John Lennon, Kurt Cobain. I mean, I think those are the 3 bigs. Is there anyone else that's on that level? Because of course, then you've got Chris Cornell and Chester, which that's all. I'm on the radio and I'm dealing with all of that. We had just I mean, is there anyone else on there? Elvis, Lennon, and Cobain. That you would even put in the discussion.
No.
Where were you when you heard? Now, you might have a favorite comedian. You might have a favorite actor or actress or something, and I get that. But I'm thinking of another musician where the whole world stopped.
No, not like that. No, I think that's kind of it. I mean, especially if they die younger. If they die like at 80, you're kind of like, well, okay, But yeah, like someone like Chris Cornell was a huge shock. Chester was a huge shock. Scott Weiland was a big shock because we grew up with those guys. We interviewed these guys. We worked, we were in the thing with them, in the whole 90s thing. So those were tough, man. Kurt Cobain was weird because I was actually off that week on vacation. And then I'm a dork, so I'm punching around radio stations, and it came off on the alternative station, wherever the hell I was driving. And they were talking about it. I'm like, fuck, how the hell? No way. I'm like, holy shit, Kurt Cobain? This can't be real. And then, obviously, as time went by, you were like, you kind of realize, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. The guy was pretty messed up.
Because we were part-timers. So the radio station hadn't flipped in Buffalo to alternative yet. So I was there at the announcement, and it was just holy shit. So of those three, Elvis, 1977, I remember my mom coming out hysterically. It was August. And I'm in the street with my dad. And I remember we're playing tennis. We're going back and forth, just hitting the tennis ball back and forth. And August 16th, my mom comes running out on the front porch, hysterics. Elvis died. And that, for most people, again, if you're older, John F. Kennedy, I'm not taking anything away from all of those big moments. But as far as musicians, John Lennon, I remember how huge it was, but I don't remember the announcement. I remember my mom immediately wanting to get that album Double Fantasy, and it was on back order. So like she went to the record store and couldn't get it.
Right.
And they said, no, we're sold out. And she was on a list. And she wasn't even, we were an Elvis house. We were in a Beatles house, but I couldn't believe my mom immediately, she wanted that John Lennon album.
Well, yeah, because it was it. That was the final thing he did. And that was,
we couldn't get it for weeks. Couldn't get it for weeks at Cavages or whatever record town, Record Lion,
Record
wherever
Sam's,
we went.
Yeah, Sam the Record Man or whatever.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, we couldn't get the album. But I don't remember the announcement for that.
I don't remember the announcement, but I remember that it was done on Monday Night Football. Fucking Howard Cosell made the announcement. Like in the middle of the game, Howard Cosell comes on and goes, breaking news, John Lennon. Because John Lennon showed up on Monday Night Football one time, and he was in the booth with these guys, interviewing them. And he made the damn announcement during the football game. Can you imagine watching football?
I'm 10 years old. I'm 11 years old. I'm not watching Monday Night Football yet, or I'm not staying up late. I'm probably watching maybe the beginning, but my mom's not watching that shit. So it's like, you know what? You're 11. You're watching what your mom watches.
Yeah. And that wasn't my music either. That was my mom's music. That was my mom's music. I didn't give a shit. Actually, you know what? Later on, when Tom Petty died, it wasn't like I was like, fucking Tom Petty's my favorite. Tom Petty's always been kind of like just kind of there. Don't love him, don't hate him. But you and I just seen him like a month or so before, a couple months before at Jazz Fest. On the day it was pouring out muddy, they had shut down Jazz Fest here in New Orleans.
We didn't think he was going to play.
And then none of us wanted to go because we're drinking all day. And it's like, finally, we're like, well, they're opening the gates. We got tickets. It's Tom Petty. Let's go check him out. And we stood in the mud. And it was a beautiful day. And he played one of the best shows I had seen out in Jazz Fest. And a couple months later, he was dead. And it, again, not a huge fan. It didn't crush me. But because of the experience we had, I think I was more appreciative of the fact that I was smart enough to get my ass out there and see him. So it meant a lot more.
Okay, gone too soon. Everybody's gone too soon.
Sure.
But when you talk about Elvis, John Lennon, Kurt Cobain, you said it. These were all, whoa, this is way too soon, Right. Petty's been around a long time. The tributes for Bob Dylan when he goes down, it's going to be huge, but it's not going to be such a shock, I guess, when somebody is
now.
Correct. So, I mean, no disrespect. If you listen to this podcast, I don't give a shit about Bob Dylan. But Bruce Springsteen, again, he's had this career, and eventually these guys are going to pass on. But same thing with Cornell and Chester Bennington. That's a little bit more us, but stricken, at a young age. At a young age, I wasn't around when Buddy Holly, bit it, but I do remember Stevie Ray Vaughan because it was right around my birthday.
I remember it really well. Actually, now that you bring it up,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Fucking yeah! I was in some shitty drafting class in school, and I hated it. I couldn't do it, and I sucked. I just copy off the kid next to me, and I'd freehand it, and I'd get a fucking D, but I passed. But we were allowed to listen to the radio. And what was great was we listened to 97 Rock in Buffalo. Anita West was doing middays. She comes on the air. She fucking announces it.
Whoa.
And we're all like sitting there. And I didn't really know that much about Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I knew enough that it was heavy.
I saw him at Darien Lake.
Wow.
I saw him at Darien Lake with either Taylor or Moore's son. who was a friend of a friend, and he got us tickets.
And that's the old morning show in Buffalo. That's crazy.
Right. So I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan live. I did see him live, and it was phenomenal. I remember the show because I was young, I wasn't wasted. So I remember everything about the show. So I remember we went out that night, and there was a guy out, and he immediately, because I'm playing in the band at that time when that happened. So I'm trying to think what year it is. I don't know, but airbrushed. Two guys walk into the club and they've got a Stevie Ray Vaughan RIP airbrush t-shirt. But people would get airbrush shit, dude, back in the day. You remember that?
Yeah, airbrush was bad. It was really bad. It was bad. I think there was a guy that like worked at one of the gigs, Alternative Tuesdays. He would have an airbrush station set up. Oh yeah, we had a guy.
I got my leather jacket. And I got the back of it tribal airbrushed on the back of it. I have a leather jacket somewhere that the guy airbrushed. But these guys went out, and I remember them being out. It was the day of. They went out and got Stevie Ray Vaughan airbrush T-shirts made. So I remember the day. So that's a big one too. Everyone's going to have something that they connect with. Like, hey, I'm sure there's somebody that, Pantera was their favorite band of all time. And I do remember the day that Dimebag Darrell died. And I remember that story, and I remember what a big deal it was. I just, for me, I'm not putting that in the Elvis Cobain list, Tragic.
Eddie Van Halen was big. Eddie Van Halen was big. But it was weird. I found out through all of a sudden I get 90 texts.
But I felt he was super sick forever,
Yeah, we kind of knew.
It was still crushing. It was devastating. It was devastating.
You're right. But I mean, I found out through a bunch of texts coming in. I think I was doing something. I didn't have my phone on me, so I didn't know until an hour and a half later. And it's my phone was blowing up. Dude, can you believe Eddie's gone? I'm like, what?
You're one of the first people I thought of when I heard it. I'm like, shit, how's Jason doing with this? How's Jason doing?
Yeah, I found out through everybody, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess Eddie Van. And then of course I jump on the internet. And I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. But that one was kind of weird because you kind of knew. Chris Cornell was a shock. That was a shock. Chester was a shock. Kurt was a shock. Scott Weiland, he always kind of back in your head
wasn't that much of a shock.
You kind of knew
that guy wasn't going to get old.
But it was just it still was damn it. You kind of, as time progressed, you're like, maybe he's got a shot here. No, he doesn't. He fucked it up. But yeah, wow, way to fucking end this with
montage of death.
Yeah, way to go. That really got us going. What was the thing you were talking about? A didgeridoo? What's the thing with the movies?
Diegetic and non-diegetic.
A didgeridoo is a thing you play in Australia, right?
Yeah. We need to get music on this podcast. We can't
buy a didgeridoo.
I have one.
I'm not even saying that. No shit. Are you serious?
Yeah. My buddy Dennis brought me one back from Australia. I have a didgeridoo.
Who doesn't need one of those?
So I busted out and I'm going, and I can barely do it. I'm kind of it's just me in a tube. I'm not doing it the way you're supposed to do it. I'm just making the noise. Fucker next door from Australia. He's like, oh, really? Are we having a jam session? He goes inside, gets his didgeridoo. He can kind of do it a little bit too.
Dude, what the fuck is going on in your neighborhood? You got a dueling Oh, dude, there it is. I got your next
dueling didgeridoos.
You know how they do the dueling pianos in a lot of bars? You guys just open up. You could sell kangaroo burgers. I can't even keep going. It's so stupid. I can't even keep doing it.
Jason, any final thoughts?
Kangaroo meat sounds like it might be bad.
I think they do eat them. I mean, it's not cruel. They're fucking everywhere. They're like deer. If you have venison, it's not cruel. So I think it's not on, you don't pull into a McRoo, but I think people do eat them.
Burgeroos. You're not going to Burgeroos. give me a wombat and a couple of roos, man, inside of fucking snake fries.
Give me a 6-piece of roo feet.
Fucking playing in the restaurant, just didgeridoo music. This is why people listen, it's because of this. It's what we just did. Roomy.
To the big fade when we are just delirious at the end.
I think that's what it is. I think I'm
talking stupid shit. Do you have any final thoughts?
Not really, man. Happy Thanksgiving, I guess, is kind of it, really. Try to survive the family onslaught tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. And then what's great about it is, a lot of times you'll spend this time on Thanksgiving with family, and then you, in a few weeks, get to do it all over again at Christmas time. This part of the year is a beating.
I know we got some younger people that listen, and the shirt that I'm wearing, it commemorates the greatest radio promotion of all time.
No way.
The Turkey Drop.
That's a great shirt.
The Turkey Drop, WKRP.
Holy shit, it's a lot of stuff on a shirt.
WKRP in Cincinnati. And the line I leave you with, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. The humanity. If you've never seen, I'm not going to try to get you to watch a show that is super dated. It's an old sitcom. It's probably not that funny, but fuck, the Thanksgiving Turkey Drop it's one of the best sitcoms ever. You don't have to be into radio, but the radio promotion gone wrong. And I've been involved, and I know you haven't been involved in 1,000 radio promotions that didn't work out, but this is the gold standard. It's the greatest ever. It's absolutely the greatest ever. It's so fucking funny. It still holds up to this day. I put a clip up on my personal Facebook page. We'll put it up on our Play Pants page so you guys can see it. And it's just the dude doing Les Nessman doing the play-by-play. It's absolutely the best. It's a must-watch thing. It's a YouTube clip. I'm asking you to watch 4 minutes and you'll laugh your ass off. I think you will. WKRP in Cincinnati. Look it up. It's awesome.
Dude, I just fucking, my heart just fucking stopped because you said radio promotion's gone wrong. And I just had this flash before my eyes. We were doing a promotion, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't want to fucking get in trouble still all these years later. Somehow we were counting down numbers, and we had to write numbers on ping pong balls, right? No, and so like it was like a reverse drawing. So you kept pulling a okay, number 17 out. Okay, so if you had number 17, you went and drank beers, you weren't going to win the prize. Well, you kept going. None of us thought to put a line under a 6 or a 9. So you might have been calling fucking 6, or it could have been 9. So we get near the end and it's all fucked up. Somehow we made it work. It was right. We did it. We brought in the lawyers. We did everything's cool, man. Everything's good now. But I just remember that moment of we're all like going, we all kind of realized it at the same time. We're like, oh, holy fuck. We don't have the right numbers. We're fucked. And I'm sick thinking about it right now. Because like, what do you do? People had left and you got a contest and it was a big prize and we had fucked it. Oh, bad. I've done that before with giving away a Harley and only one of the keys works. And I'm like, dude, you've got to know for a fact that once that key goes in there, it's not going anywhere. They get dummy keys. Right. And there's one key that works and we got all these dummy keys. And I'm like, what if one of the other keys accidentally turns the thing over though? I go, I don't even want to be involved in this, man. It's like, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And that one actually worked. And only one key turned it over. But it was the scariest thing ever because of that. They were written on golf balls and it was the season seat fan frenzy. That's what it was. About. Yeah. Nobody thought to put like, here's a 6, put a line under it. So we had
season tickets to everything.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then some old lady that never even listened to the radio station won.
Always. It's never like, I mean, we could talk about this for fucking 10 hours, but radio station contests, they never go, because you always want to like have someone who like fits the mold of your radio stations.
No. You just want to have somebody that actually listens to your radio, not finds out about a contest and then boom, gets in. And then of course that person's going to win. Mm-hmm. Said Harley was the same situation, not a listener.
Yeah, I don't like doing any contests anymore. After those, I was like, I don't want to do these anymore because it's just fucking, it's nerve-wracking. Nobody ever wins the right thing. It's always a shit show. So there's my final thoughts. No more radio contests.
The greatest thing is the turkey drop from WKRP in Cincinnati. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it nails it.
Don't forget the fucking rolls. That's it. Don't forget the roles. Everybody forgets the roles.
And if you're going to listen to any music this weekend, make sure it's the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack for the song Brandy.
Brandy. You're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be.
There should be a didgeridoo solo in that fucking song.
But my love, my life, and my lady is the same. There's a port and a western. All right, that's enough.